Welcome to Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes, a podcast hosted by me, Natalie Torres-Haddad, an international award-winning author, two-time TEDx speaker, and investor, along with Olivier Egli, an investor, sales and marketing pro, and multi-language podcaster. We will share the tips and tricks from interviews with self-made entrepreneurs, leaders, and those who have attained financial freedom while learning financial literacy in multiple languages.
Hello and welcome. Please step inside the Savvy Trailer series, a niche of the Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes podcast. I'm Vera and here with
Natalie.
Hi. Today we have Olivier Egli, founder of Why Story. Hello, Olivier.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
We're happy to have you here. And we wanted to want you to tell us a little bit about Why Story. I know that I've heard some people call you the purpose guy. So what is Why Story and why are you the purpose guy?
I have many weird names. Some call me also a business therapist and other kind of things. I'm really a guy like many others who awoke to the fact that I worked for too long, not fulfilling who I really was with my work. I was someone who was misguided by ideas who were not who he really truly was.
Mhm.
So my story is really something that brings a true nature into the work. So what I'm trying to do, or rather what I'm doing is I celebrate human value entrepreneurship, which is the work that is created from a person's purpose. So most people work to just fulfill a job because that's what they learned, that's what society has taught them. So they just crunch and hustle and work until old age. I don't believe in that. I believe that we're here to fulfill our life's purpose through our work. And that's what Wise Story celebrates. And that's what I'm trying to teach people, that they too are capable of doing their best work and serving their purpose with their work.
I love how he just said that. You know, you're the anti-hustle movement, and you're preaching to the choir because you're right. I think the message is being construed of what a side hustle looks like, and I don't even really like using the word hustle for that reason because it's that drive yourself until you're exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's a better way of doing it. How can we balance our mental and financial health if all of that is not in balance?
Mhm.
Can you give us maybe some tips or what you recommend? I mean, we're doing this new niche series,
Right.
and it was because we talked about what is our purpose. We want to teach financial literacy in a way that's still fun and being able to travel. So we still are trying to navigate, but we still deal with like the imposter syndrome. We still
Sure.
come with the doubts. What would you recommend for people that are pivoting their business?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that if you're going at 150 miles an hour all the time, you will face exhaustion at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not really feel it, but inside of you, something is about to crack. And in some people, it happens sooner. Some people never experience it, but it's there. So to be able to step out of the busy zone
Right.
and look at your life from afar, find moments of silence, quiet, allowing yourself to have the introspection of like, who am I actually? Like, what do I care about? Like, what are the things that when I grew up, I really loved doing? Where's my heart at? Like, where's my zone of flow? We don't give those things room ever in our busy days. We just go about a script that we learned and that becomes automatic. And now this is an important thing. I deal a lot with, neurology and neuroplasticity, so which is really the way the brain learns. And the brain is a highly capable machine. And you have to understand that right now you're running whatever job you do, you're running at a very high level of efficiency at running an automatic program that is not good for you. So stepping outside of yourself helps you realize in full awareness, hold on, pump your brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Is this really who I am? And that is the first step, to realize, okay, we have a problem. We're not being ourselves.
Right.
Now, what comes after that is to actually ask yourself, who am I? And what I have come to realize is that everybody has a unique story in them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I call myself the why story, right? It's the story of our why. There is a message inside of us that is unique to us. But if we don't celebrate that message, if we celebrate someone else's message, something that we learned or heard or that was taught to us, we completely, we cover our message with the rubble of a noisy world.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that we become someone else. And it's
Right.
actually, you know what? It's actually a fact that depression and just being unhappy with your job is the true pandemic, because people live outside of themselves.
Yeah,
They're
that's so true.
schizophrenic at work.
That's
Right?
so true.
It's difficult to navigate that without being aware of those things, right? And just
Mm-hmm.
understand
Yes.
that maybe triggers of depression or triggers of unhappiness, right? Like you're saying. And I like how you say zoning in your flow, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that should be the title of this podcast, zoning in your
Yeah.
flow, because you're right. It's kind of, how do you quiet the mind? How do you focus on what makes you happy? Like when
Right.
children, they keep it simple purposely, because the whole point is to teach them to grow to find their own purpose. And I
Mm-hmm.
love how
Right.
you're doing that message. And I think, is there maybe a tip that you, I like how you're saying, you're explaining it very simplistic for us, because I think sometimes we overcomplicate concepts.
Sometimes I think we always overcomplicate.
Yeah, and then we're going to do that regardless.
Yeah.
But, is there something that you do, especially when you're talking to your clients or when you're doing a workshop, like that you tell people kind of like, this is a tip that will help you just kind of ground yourself to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what is your why story, because you just made
Yeah.
it sound so simple, and not even simple, it's the truth that comes out of
Right.
Yes. So it really comes down to that message that I told you before about, it's that core message, or like the fundamental message of your life. There is something that you believe more than anything. Okay, if you go into a quiet place and investigate, okay, what is that one belief that I would teach my children if I only had one thing to teach? If I only had the mic for one sentence to
Mm-hmm.
share myself with the world, okay, what would that message be? And now this is a lot of work. It sounds very easy as I say it here right now, because there's a lot of messages that come to mind. But if you strip everything down, all the bullshit,
Right.
everything that you think you are about, that you're actually not, you will end up with one very, very simple message that describes the true you better than anything. And sometimes it's just a bunch of words.
Yeah.
I always use the example of Steve Jobs, because Steve Jobs is the prime example of a human value entrepreneur. Okay. He embodies what we can do when we align our true self with our best work.
Mm-hmm.
He, of all people, because he was not in it for the money, he was in it to serve that one message. And that one message in him was, those who think differently change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now take that in. That is a message that was inside of him that kept nagging at him through his high school and college years so much, until he found the perfect way to share it with the world.
Right.
Now, if we could consciously go back and find that message in us, we would have a compass that shows exactly what we need to focus on if we want to do our best work.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That's
And
so true.
and there's so many ways to find that. A lot of people do it with meditation. Some people do it by asking themselves, what is that one thing that I constantly get in trouble about when I'm in conversations with my friends, because I will not budge.
Right.
It's the one thing that I will not, accept any
Like they
opposing
cannot change your
opinion.
mind. It is
It's
who you are.
impossible. And the best thing about it is that a core belief, it's almost like religion. It has nothing to do with religion, but you don't know where it comes from. You just accept it as yours.
Yeah. That's really
True.
well
Any
said.
any other belief that you have, you acquired from someone, and that can be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
If the facts change, the belief changes.
Mm-hmm.
But that one belief does not change ever. And
And
we
I think
don't know why.
right. And I think it's really important to have, especially for individuals that are potentially, if you're listening to this now or in the future, we're currently in a pandemic, and a lot of people have really reassessed their situation and have wanted to suddenly say, maybe I can do something on my own, or, are changing gears or are pivoting. That's like a topic or a word that a lot of people know. But if you pivot for the sake of pivoting without knowing your core belief, your message, you're just going to end up again doing the same like vicious
Exactly.
cycle of misery, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And doing what
Exactly.
everyone else is doing,
Yeah, what
right?
everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why, I'm here to give people a guiding star, or help them see that guiding star that's inside of them, because we were born with it. But now we have the tools to bring it out. And it is our obligation. Okay, this is an important thing. It's not a right, it's not a possibility. It is our holy obligation to use our purpose, you know, to create work from it that benefits everyone. Now imagine if everybody was doing that, if everybody loved their work, if everybody was enamored with their work, excited to get up, never wanting to retire, always wanting to do a better job. Now we know why we want to grow. Now we know why we want to do a better job,
Mhm.
right? Now everything becomes clear. And I stumbled into that because I was in it for the wrong reasons, and it was killing me.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it was killing me, I figured it must be killing millions and millions and
Right.
millions of people right now.
Yes. And the
Mhm.
mental health, depression is a lot of people root and say it's their environment, which is usually their
Yeah.
work, the lack
Absolutely.
of finances that come with that, right?
Yeah.
So you're right.
Absolutely.
You're right on.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I don't think a lot of people really think about when you're purposeful in what you do, when you know who you are, you're purposeful about where you put your money. You're
Mm-hmm.
purposeful about who you choose in your surroundings, what
Yep.
Yeah.
businesses you decide to create, or things to say no to because you have
Boundaries.
boundaries. Yeah.
Yes.
Can we talk about
Yes.
boundaries, right? And that's what it is, right? Right now during pandemic, so many of us had to redefine or to really highlight this has been a boundary before. Now this is really a boundary now, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you suggest people to keep those boundaries healthy, right? For their to stay aligned with their purpose.
Well, the good thing is that once you really become clear on your purpose, now I must say that purpose is more than just that core belief, it's all the gifts you have, okay?
Hmm.
Consider purpose as the gifts that you were given by the universe. Okay, now you're clear on your gifts. You realize, wow, I have all this potential. But now, what comes from that? Now, of course, oh, I am about this specific thing. And I want to use my skills and my talents and my passion to bring that one specific thing out into the world. Now, guess what? Your options are very much more limited. It's not about like, should I become a lawyer, or should I go into finances, or should I like go into economics? It's about like, which direction,
Hmm.
in which direction can I bring out all of my potential? And you realize now that your purpose becomes actually your direction. It becomes that compass for whatever needs to come next. And now everything becomes clear. That's the beautiful thing. If before you were just following someone else's script, you are now writing your own script based on your purpose. And now suddenly oh, I have the wrong friends. I'm doing the wrong work. I'm focusing on the wrong things. I'm building the wrong culture in my business. I'm actually creating the wrong products, the wrong services. I'm focusing on the wrong goals. All those things come out of clarity of purpose. It is impossible. And I'm telling you this, guys, I know it from 2 decades of experience. It is impossible to do great marketing, to build great products, to create great offerings, and to build empowering cultures without knowing who you are. It is completely unimaginable. It's like You create something out of thin air. Oh, let's build an empowering culture, but I don't know who I am. So what does empowerment mean for you?
Right.
Well, if you knew who you are, you could define empowerment and you could build an empowering culture. But since you don't know, you just copy what the next guy is doing. And that's what we have now. We have copies of copies of copies of copies of copies. And everybody wants to go into early retirement. So everybody works for money. And when everybody works for money, we become bad people. Our work becomes bad. Purpose has nothing to do with money. Purpose creates money, yes, but it's not here because of the money.
Right.
I feel like we need to bring you back because there's so many.
Yes.
You're right. It's a therapy session and therapy is consistent. It's a weekly thing. So I definitely have to have you back. But is there maybe a book or a resource that you like to recommend to people to discover more about the purpose or just kind of how to ask those questions that you're saying? Like there's a lot of questions within it. Like how do you define who you are?
Well, one of the books is in the making right now. That is my own.
Awesome.
Which is hopefully going to be done in the next couple of months, where I'm working very hard to pour all those resources, into one concise, point of reference where there's going to be experiential learning, because I believe you can only learn through experience.
Right.
And there's going to be exercises, and there's going to be all the background information and the history of it. But I'm actually, I'm very selective with reading, because I find reading can be a great resource, but also can be a great source of distraction, right? Because the more we read, the more noise we can potentially invite into our lives. However, I'm a big supporter of Deepak Chopra. And I like to go back to his 7 laws of success, because it's founded on principles of nature, which is what I believe.
Yes.
If you turn towards nature, you find the answer to yourself.
Answers.
It's very simple, guys. Would nature do what you're currently doing? Ask yourself that. When you're faced with a decision, when you have to make a tough call, what would nature do? If you find yourself in a situation, is that situation natural? If not, how did you get there?
Right.
Because nature is the best teacher. And I don't say that just because it sounds cool. It's actually true. Going to nature and observe.
You live in nature,
So a follow-up podcast so people can see that you live and breathe what you're teaching. And I love that. That's why I'm excited to have you on this, because I'm like, you don't understand. He lives and breathes this. And those are good resources. I think he's an incredible author too. And we'll have to have you back talking about your book launch, because I think that's really empowering and powerful for people to have.
That is a perfect excuse to have you back on the show, so you can tell us more and where people can get it.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. How can people connect with you and learn more about your workshops, or just have that like you said, a business therapist?
Well, I have a website, so www.y-story.com. And you can find me on Instagram, The Why Story, and on LinkedIn, the usual suspects. And I'm there, always happy to connect, always available for questions and to have interesting conversations.
Great.
So,
Thank you for being here. We're really grateful that you took the time, and we do look forward to having you back. But folks out there, if you want to learn more, if you want to ask questions, or you'd like, to already submit questions for us to ask him in the future.
What is your zone flow?
Yeah,
what's your purpose?
Exactly.
Like, ask us those questions so we can have him on again.
Absolutely. You can DM us at The Savvy Trailer and at Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes. Please reach out there, but we look forward to hearing you and speaking to you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olivier.
Next time.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And please make sure to subscribe and leave your comments and reviews. To learn more about the podcast, check out the website and Instagram, Financially Savvy in 20 Minutes, and watch interviews on YouTube and IGTV. To become a sponsor or hire us for your next workshop or speaking engagement, please visit financiallysavvyin20minutes.com.
All it takes is 20 minutes daily to become financially savvy. Music by Nikki and produced by Robert DeLude.